Okay, great. Thanks. So hi everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. I am Siddharth Gangal. I'm the co-founder and CEO at the Solar Labs. So I'll start off with a quick intro about the company, why we started, and what our vision is. And after that, I'll also take you through a quick a demo of our software, where we will design one site which will have both one RCC roof and one shed roof. After that, we will have one case study where we will also show you how better optimizations are possible while designing through the Solar Labs. So these are three things that I'll cover. After that, we, as I understand, we'll open it up for questions and answers, and we can take those. All right. So, we were founded back in 2017. This was back when I was also in undergraduate studies at IIT Mandi. And the idea was, how can so I was really passionate about solar, right? And especially about rooftop solar. So all through university, I'd gone through courses. I'd actually done internships in the industry with solar, solar RESCO players. I'd also developed a credit model for, RESCO and credit check analysis. And I'd also done like a lot of research work with professors, talking, focused more on yield optimizations and how to basically, design better and squeeze out more power. And when finally the time came, we decided to start the Solar Labs. This was back in 2017, first half, where we were incorporated. We took a lot of feedback from the market and noticed that there were a lot of gaps in the way that design happens. So one was that it took a lot of time. Like very frankly, I also used software like PVSys, SketchUp. So it took a lot of time to design there, and then they were not also giving out the final reports in the format that I wanted. Also, the generation was not as accurate because these softwares have been built on European and US models, and they don't really talk about and take care of all the factors that actually impact the generation in India, because it's different. There are a few more factors that require more weightage in India. So our idea was we wanted to accelerate the pace of rooftop solar adoption, and how we were to do that was to provide solar developers, installers with improvements in their workflow, help them design with the best possible practices, and make sure that we can go right from a lead information to a proper design and design quote within 20 minutes. So all this, has been possible now. This is a slightly older site, but as of now, we stand at about 1.2 gigawatts of solar capacity that has been analyzed. And in India, we have approximately 350 customers. Abroad, we have customers in USA, Southeast Asia, and Australia. So these are some of the geographies that we are active in. So, I mean, we all know about the solar industry, so I'm not going to talk about that much. The focus for us is to help, our customers grow sales through providing their customers, the end prospects, with better quality data, 3D visualization, so that they can get a proper understanding and then take a well-informed decision towards going for solar. The second crux of what we offer is design optimization. So within the software itself, we have multiple features which focus on driving more yield out of our panels. And the third is reduction in costs, because the software takes less time and a lot of things are automated. Proposals are obviously, generated in much shorter time. Secondly, you don't need multiple software where, previously you needed, AutoCAD, SketchUp, and PVSys, and so much more. With us, in one software, you can get all those outputs. Some special things that we do is since we're cloud-based and we have good support for 24/7. We also have, since we're on the cloud, a remote work collaboration possible. And for enterprises, like for example, say like Tata or Adani, etc., We also have enterprise solutions where we tie up with their CRM, and we provide more tailored workflows for these companies. So these are some of the 3D models that you can see on our that you can see have been designed on our software. So again, this is an older slide. So right now we're around 350 to 400, somewhere in between in terms of number of customers. So these two were one of our very initial, I think, top first 10 customers. So Amplus and Vari were kind enough to believe in us and give us a chance, and we really repaid that. So at Amplus we took a 2-hour training session, and after that the result was that whatever it took them 3 hours to do, they were able to do in 20 minutes. And similarly at Vari, we reduced the turnaround time from, I think it was around a week to around 2 days. So for an organization that size, it was a pretty big deal. So again, the idea is that all teams in an EPC can use this one software and tailor their entire workflow on it, so that we have lesser time wasted, more optimizations, and a smoother way of operating, right? So less headaches in general. We also have some partners for design outsourcing. We also have an integration with Octabees, which is a solar project management software. We also provide some services to ESL. So they also use our software, and to Solar Compare as well. So Solar Compare, we've tied up for lead generation. We've also done one very interesting project where we took a drone survey across around 300 acres of IIT Mandi. So you can see one of the images here on the mapping side, top right. And from those drone images, we then constructed 3D models within the Solar Labs. And then once we created those 3D models, then we were able to create and estimate the capacity. And within I think it was 2 days for drone mapping, and then 2 days for creating this and generating all the reports. So 4 days work, which for around 2 megawatts, which normally takes easily two weeks if you have 5-6 people stationed at a site. So we were able to drastically reduce the cost and increase the accuracy by involving both drones and our software while doing this analysis. So that's about us. Now I'll jump into a demo about the Solar Labs. So the Solar Labs, as I mentioned, is a cloud-based software where you can just go onto our website. You'll have user credentials, and you can start to use it right there. This is the homepage where all the projects that we have ever done are stored. So you can see that I've done all these projects here. So first step is I'll start off by creating a new project. So for example, I'm going to choose that site with both RCC and shed. And let me just take a moment to show that to you. Yeah. So I'm going to choose to do this and this roof. So I'll start off by naming the project. I'll name the client. So for here, I'll use Anmol's name, who helped set up the session. I'm going to put down my number. And then we can also add the email and address. It appears on the report if you'd like it to. And then I'll hit confirm. So when I hit confirm, I will have an option to make any type of design that I need to. In the meantime, I'm just yeah, I think there was some technical difficulty here, but it's loaded. So this is the project summary page where you can see the project information that we entered. We can also input the client requirements. So for example, if we have a net metering connection, or if we are going for a gross metering, we can put in some of these details. This data is an input to the software, and the software will use this for its financial analysis. So for this, I'm going to take the example that this site is consuming 50,000 units at an average price of 8 rupees, and the annual rate for the tariff is increasing at 2.5% year on year. After that, I'm going to start off by doing one design, and then I'm going to hit confirm. I'm having, I think, an issue. My internet is slow here. But yeah. So now a new design has been created. Here again, we have the design information. Once we have created the design, we'll get to see the properties. We also have a bill of quantity. We can input any of these into our report, and then they are going to show up in the final report that's generated. So that you can input your entire bill of materials there as well. After that, once you have designed the project, you can also input the pricing details and input the price, the subsidy, maintenance cost, accelerated appreciation, so that we can get an accurate financial analysis out. So now I'm just going to go into designing, and this is where 90% of the software is. So I'll take you through this. On the left, we have tools that allow us to perform various functions. The top bar has options for undo, redo, saving the design, and so on. And on the right, we have the summary of the project at all times. So this is how it's structured. Now I'll start off by creating a model of the roof. So here I can see that, okay, I'm going to start off with the RCC and then go over to shed. So first is I'll create the shed roof. Now you can see that the software has already seen how, what the dimensions are. But if I already know the dimensions, say I already know that this is 54, so I can also input that with complete accuracy. Similarly, this is 44, but if I know this is 45, I can put that, and so on. So if I have the dimensions, I can draw it to the max accuracy. I can draw it exactly as it is. But if I don't have the dimensions and I'm using this online, then also the software is going to calculate the lengths for me. Right. So right now what I'm doing is I'm using a shortcut called the P, the letter P on the keyboard, which is a shortcut for creating a new polygon. Right. So very simply, as you can see, I'm creating all of these, mumpties and other things that are visible on the rooftop. Again, I'm going to use a shortcut called C to draw a cylinder. Again, if I have the dimension, I can specify it exactly, and so on. So now what I've drawn is I'll go to 3D mode by, there's a shortcut called 3, or I can click here. So this is what I've drawn so far, right? So you can see that the model consists of around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different models, right? So now I have the power to edit the dimensions and edit any property of each model. So for example, right now I've selected the bottom, the roof, right? So for the roof, I can give it a base height. So I'll make that, 8 meters. Then there is a parapet here. So I'm going to give it, it's 1.5 meter parapet. It's 0.3 meters thick. I'm going to have a setback from the edge of the rooftop of 0.5 meters. I can change that if I'd like to. And this is where I want to place panels. So I'll mark this as placeable and hit update. So now we see that the roof has been updated with these new properties. Similarly, now if I have the dimensions for different mumties, so by default, the software takes 3 meters, and you can set whatever default you want to. But for now, I'll just have a few different iterations to make it more practical, and then I'll move ahead. So I think this is something that looks more realistic as per what's on the roof. Even when I'm drawing, I can press on X. I can hold the letter X and zoom in, perform various operations, and just get more clarity if I need to. Just press and hold X. Right, and since I remember, so I can change whatever I need. So okay, yeah. So now that is back, the next step for me is doing. So first step is making the rooftop. Second step is actually doing the shadow analysis. So how does that work? I'll quickly talk about that. So in our software, we know where the roof is, right? We have the geo coordinates. Similarly, we also know what is true south, right? And we've built a complex mathematical model in our product where we know how the sun moves relative to the earth, so that we can map that and we can see exactly how shadows will also form, right? Because we know the relative position of the sun with respect to the earth, and hence with respect to the building. So there's a feature here called sun simulation, which allows me to set a date, a time, right? And then simulate the shadows, right? And this is the same data that's actually used by our solar access button as well. So the software has already stored for each point on the rooftop, like around 1 centimeter per centimeter square, for all the hours in the year, whether there's going to be shadow there or not. So the software already knows that. The next step for the software is to take that data, whether there's shadow or not, and then map it across the DNI GHI data, so that if there is shadow, then the diffuse part will continue to work, right? But if there is shadow, the direct part of the sunlight will not work. So we take both of those into, we take the reflected coefficient also into account. So we take all three components of sunlight into account. Now you can see that, as per what we also think, right? If this is south, then there is purple areas here. Purple is more shadowed, here. Whereas, as you can see, where there is more openness, we can see that there is more solar energy coming here. So yellow is good, purple is bad. Next step for us is, so now that is done. Next, I will also place panels on this rooftop. Okay, so again, the software has put in the maximum number of panels that are possible for this rooftop, not accounting for shadow right now. So this is theoretically the maximum number that could be put up on this rooftop, like purely. So we can see that with the orientation of true south, 180 degrees, a 20-degree tilt, the row spacing is automatically calculated according to this. The table properties, so I can change around. I can go for a 2x1 as well if needed, and so on. Orientation, mount height, and so on. The next step is to optimize for solar access. So we already know where the sunlight is, which point it's coming or not. So now the next step for us is to actually map it to different panels. So is the sunlight hitting this panel? What is the annual average that we can take? And accordingly, which panels do we need to actually remove? So we can do that as well. So you can see here, optimize. I press on solar access. I clicked on the button. I click subarray. Press on optimize, and this actually allows me uh, to change these things, and what this does is it removes the lowest energy generating panel first. So you can see that the threshold talks about the minimum energy that the panel is receiving. So that is what the threshold is. Now module quantity 372, so that also changes as per these this happens. So right now we have a 140 kilowatt system. Again, if we go the other way, if we need a 140 kilowatt system only, and we want to find the best way of doing that, we can just press that, input that, and then we'll get an input. And then the software will tell us which is the best 140 kilowatt. Now, there are some practical changes that we'll always like to make. So, for example, here there's one panel only which has been left. So we can put that panel somewhere else, and so on. So any practical change we need to make, like changing table, moving it here and there, or like whatever we need to do. The thing is that the target for us is to create a system which we can install, and that's what we are doing right now. So you can see that we can make any change literally, and the software will allow for that. So now the solar axis analysis has already been completed. There's one more tool called Dimension Tool, which actually helps us also measure dimensions from different points on the rooftop. So 7.8 versus Lasso. So Lasso, what it does, it allows you to select multiple panels as well. So you have all the practical functionality that you need. Also, you can change the azimuth angle here. So for example, if you want to align it to that edge of the rooftop, that's also something that you can do, right? So we retain and we give you all the flexibility that is required. So now I've actually completed my design for this rooftop. It's a 139 kilowatt. So what I'll do is I'll add 2 Sungrow inverters of 60 kilowatts, and then I'll also place them on the rooftop. So I'm actually gonna maybe place them on the side here or the bottom. I'm going to change the property of this. So property 146.45. So I'll just align it completely. Okay, wait. Okay, I should have used the other angle. 236.45. 236.45. Right. So now I've set this. This inverter, I'm going to copy paste so that both of these are put up on the wall, and then in 3D as well, we can see how this entire site looks. So this is a visual view, sun simulation view. It will look like this. So that's regarding this site, it has been completely designed. The solar axis, I just re-optimize it. We were at 140, right? 140 kilowatts. So this is the system we have now. Now I'm done with the RCC shed design. I'm just going to check the number. So we have 376 panels in total. Next, I'm going to start by designing the shed roof. Again, process remains the same. First, we create the rooftop. Second, we do the shadow analysis, put in the panels. And third is we remove panels by doing the shadow analysis. So here, again, we can change the base height to 6 meters. There is a tilt here of say around 8 meters, 8 degrees. And when we put in that information, it comes like this. So we also need to tell the software where to tilt it, right? So I'll do that here, 146. And now we've also tilted this roof. Now the next step for me is to draw all the turbo ventilators that I see. So again, 0.5 meters and 0.8 meters in height. I think this is sufficient. I'm also going to draw this skylight. And I'm going to not leave much of a setback outside because it's not required. So this is how my skylight looks right now. Okay, so I see that I need to change a few more properties, so I'll do that. I'm going to add the tilt, make it parallel to the rooftop, and since it's a skylight, I just want it as an object for view. So finally, this is what my final skylight is going to look like. Update. Okay, so that's done. Very simply, now the next step is to just copy these. And again, the command is Control C, Control V, R2, and very simply just to keep the straight line. Right. So very quickly, I've drawn this entire rooftop. Right. So the next step for me is to actually fill this with panels. And again, the software tries to fit in the maximum number of panels given the constraints that we have. So what I'll also show you here additionally is a walkway and a safety line feature that we have, which allows you to create these objects. I'm sorry for all the notifications from WhatsApp. Right, and simply we can just give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Next is I'm also gonna attach a safety line. So we have the safety line feature as well, which we can draw. And then just to show you a visual, this is how it's gonna look. Right. Similarly, we're also coming out with a handrail feature this week. So by Friday, that is also a functionality that you're going to have. But before, apart from that, moving on. So this is how I can create multiple walkways on the same roof. You'll see that the panels, etc., they shift, alongside. So entire row doesn't get displaced, but it only shifts. Then if we need to add an accurate dimension in between, so we need to specify exactly the distance. So that's also something that we can do. So if 25 centimeters I want to give, so it's gonna keep that 25 centimeters only. Okay, so now I think this is done. So next step is I'll show you how to copy paste this entire rooftop. And since it's very similar to both sides, I'm just gonna mirror it and then generate the final view. So you can see in a click of a button, I've done this. I can change, anything on this side of the rooftop as well. So if I want to change the panel property, if I want to go, for example, for a reverse tilt type of structure, so that is also something that is, that's a functionality that is also provided to me. So let me just show you an example of that. Right. So this also, you can see reverse tilt. We can see what the calculation is. We can also then see row to row spacing and actually optimize how we are laying these panels out to ensure maximum generation. So So here we can see that, due to this row, the other row is being shaded. So we need to give in, a higher row spacing. So all those things can be considerations that can be input into this product. And here again, we see that solar axis is not green anymore as it was in the RCC shed. This is because the tilt is not optimum. So instead of 20 degrees tilt, it is at 8 degrees tilt. The second factor is instead of 180 degree azimuth, it is at a tilt towards east. So that is reducing the overall solar axis potential. So here we can see that, on average, this, we'll receive around 91.1% of total solar energy as opposed to around 97.4 here. So by virtue of laying out panels in this configuration versus the RCC, there is a drop of around 6% in generation. So yeah, so that, I'm just going to save it quickly and move on to show you the report. Again, for this, I'll add 2 sun glow inverters. I'll actually have to add more. At 3. Yeah, with 14% overloading, that's fine. I can, choose to add the inverter or not. So that is actually a choice I have. Right now, I'll just go ahead with the report. I'm saving the design now. And yeah, once it's saved, I'll show you how the report comes out. Additionally, then we also have features for exporting the SLD for this as a CAD file. So that is also one feature. Another feature is actually exporting all the dimensions for it in the form of a CAD, in the form of a PDF. So that is actually a very new feature. It's still under beta, but I can quickly demonstrate to you how it looks. So all the dimensions that we draw are going to come up here. So right now we're working on it's a beta feature, but we're working on removing the very small dimensions so that the pertinent dimensions only make it to the PDF export. So this is also something, an export that comes out. Yeah. While that is saving, actually my internet is very slow today. While it's saving, I'll jump onto the case study that I wanted to show you. So the case study mainly talks about shadow analysis, and it talks about the typical thumb rules based calculations we do, with respect to when we just analyze taking some days in the year like winter solstice day and summer solstice day. And then we look at the shadow at 3 p.m. And then we look at the shadow at 9 a.m. And then, that's one way of doing shadow analysis. We feel that that's not the best way because you are then only considering one day. It's a thumb rule. Software can actually enable you to analyze for all the days. So for example, you can see, right, how the sun moves on June solstice, on equinox, and then finally on December solstice, the angles are very different. So hence, since the angles themselves are different, the shadow shape will be different and the size of the shadow will also be different. Like for example, just to show you. Yeah. So for example, right, just to show you, the shading pattern due to one obstacle on the rooftop, like a cylinder, on June 21, it will have a shadow like this. Okay. But on December 21, it will have a shadow like this. So this is something that we mapped out using, traditional shadow analysis method. Now we can see that it's very different. There's very little overlap as well. And, most of the time it will be somewhere in the middle, right? June 21 and December 21 के बीच में होगा. So if we use a thumb rule based, we're definitely going to get a wrong analysis out, and that's something that we very firmly believe in. So what we do is, so what happens in the industry now is maybe people remove on the winter solstice. So if they do winter solstice, they'll remove these ones. If they do summer, then they'll remove these panels, right? So this is the way it happens right now, but it's not really optimum. What the new concept that we're bringing is called solar access, where we actually talk about the available energy for the panel in 1 year. So we're not locally looking at 1 day. We want to maximize generation for the entire year, right? That is the focus of design. We want maximum energy for the whole year. So solar access is defined as available energy for the panel versus total theoretical energy. So there were three factors, as I mentioned before: the azimuth, which reduces the solar axis; the tilt, that reduces the solar axis; and shading by nearby objects and by other row of panels, which reduce the solar axis. So there's some math that I'll share this slide as well with Anmol, so that if anyone wants to look at it, you can. But the idea is that instead of going for a thumb rule, we go for a percentage based shadow analysis, where we look at each panel and we say for each panel, okay, this panel is getting 96.2%, whereas this panel is only getting 86.4%. So let us remove this panel. It is because it is it is getting less generation. So like, why go for it? Second is, due to mismatch, future mismatch losses, it is going to spoil the quality of the panel. So long term, it'll be hard to use. And also it's going to cause higher mismatch losses as well. So as a combination of all these features, solar access works perfectly because it considers everything, and then just allows you to take a decision on which panels to remove, so that you can do that. So some of the things that we recommend are the green panels you can keep. Yellow panels, you use discretion on a project level. So you take a decision directly. And if it's orange or red, then our recommendation is to remove that panel altogether. Now, I want to show you for how we use solar access and how we compared it to other shadow analysis methods. So for example, the first one, it has a minimum solar access of 85%. So the system capacity here is 15.75 kilowatts. This one has 90% solar access, so it's 45 kilowatts. 45 panels. With the 95% solar access, we have 42 panels, and with a solar access of 96.5%, we have 38, right? So you can see the trade-off. Greater solar access means greater energy, but smaller system. So depending on the project environment, you can choose, and you can look at all the factors. So if the overall target is to get more annual production, then maybe a lower solar access threshold may make sense. But if the target is to optimize and get the most amount of financial ROI out, then we need to go for a solar access based method where we maximize the solar energy. So in that case, this makes most sense because the loss is minimum and the specific generation, which is the units per kilowatt peak, is the highest. So this is the case study that I've also presented. I'll leave it to, so I'm done with my presentation. Anmol, if we can move on to Q&A, or if you have any questions that you'd like me to address, I can do them now.
Sure, Siddharth. We'll take some of the questions. I'll just recite them, and we'll be expecting you to answer the same. So
Sure.
Bikash Upreti is asking that does it also has an inbuilt data sheet of all the equipment such as solar modules, inverter?
Yes. Yes. So we have a built-in inventory of I think 99% of all modules, inverters that are used in the Indian industry. Most of the manufacturers, like say Tata, Vari, Adani's, and the most popular ones, whenever they come out with a new panel, they send us the inventory to update. So you can be rest assured that we have the inventory. In the case we do not, there is an option where you can share the data sheet with us, and we will import that into our software and our database.
Great. Second question will be Siddharth. He's asking that does this analysis also includes temperature coefficient of a PV module?
Absolutely, it does. It does.
Okay, great. So there's a question from Mayur Patil. I'll be reciting it. So he's asking, can we get monthly or annual generation, energy generation like PV assist or PV Sol?
Yes, we can. We can. I'll just show you the report as well. Just give me 2 minutes. I'll load that up for you.
Sure.
But we can go on to the next question.
Yeah. So Pawan Kumar here is asking, is this software only for grid tied system, or can we do solar off grid as well with battery component?
Right. So at the moment we have on-grid design incorporated in TSL Design Studio only. In the future, we plan to have hybrid systems as well as off-grid included. But in the current software, that is not the functionality.
Siddharth, there's another question which is related to the offline access of the software. Is your software accessible in offline mode as well?
No, Anmol. Our software is available purely online, and the reason for that is because the calculations and the design level optimization, right, that we do are very complex, and they require a bigger server to be able to compute those. So, like for example, when I talked about doing a centimeter square level analysis for one roof, and then looking at all the hours in the year for that, right? That level of computation cannot be done on a typical laptop that we have at home, so it won't work on any. So that part has to go to the server, to the cloud, and then the computation will happen there. So as a result, it needs to be online only.
Cool. Another question coming in is about the Meteor data source for the simulation. What source we are taking here with the TSL?
Right. So we have options for both Meteor, which is a built-in source. We also have NREL, which is a built-in source. So these two are built-in. Additionally, you can also import any kind of file. For example, if let me just show you, right? So if I want to change the weather file and I want to import anything, I can import a solar GS file, 3-tier, NREL, and I can also import either hourly files or monthly files, and the software will be able to use those and synthesize those as per requirement.
Great, Siddharth. So I guess that were all of the questions that we have got. We have quickly moved to the this study, and then we can wind up.
Cool. Great. So I'll show you the report that we have generated, right, for this site. So this is what the report looks like. We have an option for a 3D model view, where you can send this link over to your customers, and then they can also sort of see how it looks, how it looks in 3D. You don't need any installation of any software in order to be able to look at this. So whatever we design comes out as a report like this. This helps the customer also actually understand what he's getting into and what he's getting. So that's on the first page. Anyway, I'll go back to the report. So about us, you'll have your logo, and you'll have your logo here, your contact details. You can add information about your company here. Then system metrics will be production, performance ratio, specific generation, load ratio. You can see that the weather data set is Meteor norm. The components here use the Tata Power Solar and Sungrow inverters, and 238.11 mm of walkways. I can also, edit this inventory and assign quantities to this. So ACDB, earthing, LA, whatever is required, I can do that. There is a detailed monthly table for the amount of units that will be generated on a monthly basis. Then we have a more detailed table. So this is the answer to the question, the PVSys level report. So these are all this is the exact same table that we have also used because this is so common in the industry. And there were 3 field segments that we drew on. The shadow analysis took, the software also calculates and gives some images for how the shadow analysis does on summer solstice and winter solstice. So these 2 pages are optional for you. I mean, because they are required in some tenders, for example, in Gujarat and Rajasthan and all the residential tenders that are coming out, right? So they require a shadow analysis report to be also submitted. So page 1, page 2, and page 3, these 3 are must regulatory documents that you need to submit. So this is why these 3 pages are also here. The heat map, as you can see, is listed here. The solar axis with the panel photos is also visible. Then we have the losses of the system at all times. So again, very similar to PVSys or any other software. These are quite general losses that we use, and those are self-computed by the software. So, for example, soiling, LID, those are some inputs, but the rest of the losses are mostly calculated by the software itself. Finally, we have an impact on environment slide, which also talks about the benefit, the social good that the potential customer or the prospect is going to do if he chooses to go for a solar PV system. So, for example, just talking about this side, this is 342 kilowatts. So 342 kilowatts may you can this can be equivalent to planting around 1,20,000 trees, or avoiding coal burning of 3,579 metric tons. So a lot of figures and facts so that you can the end customer can be persuaded and helped to understand the benefits of solar for themselves and for general society, all in one go in one proposal. So this is basically what the proposal finally will look like. Additional to the proposal, then you also have an option for downloading the CAD layout for this site. So whatever we drew here, right, you will also get a CAD layout for that. So if you want to do stringing, or if you want to do any other changes to the to this design, you can do them in AutoCAD as well. So if that is required. So I think that, and also SLD will also be exported. So that's the complete product.
Thanks, Siddharth, for the descriptive session. I guess attendees present here have a brief idea about what TSL is, and it will be great if you can share these docs so that we can share with the attendees. And thanks again, Siddharth. Thank you all of our attendees to be attentive in this session and gain the most out of it. Thank you very much. We'll be winding it up now.
Yes. Thank you everyone for attending. I hope you have a great day ahead. Bye.